this video is going to be a little more serious than previous videos because honestly, I'm frustrated. I'm a big wrestling fan, but like many wrestling fans, I'm frustrated because nothing in today's WWE products makes any sense whatsoever. Nothing. There is no rhyme or reason to anything that happens, and the randomness of it all is so extreme that it takes you out of the product. Like, have you ever watched a movie where something so foolish and nonsensical happens that it takes you out of the movie? It's like you're watching and you're like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. Like, the foolishness of the movie takes you out of it. Well, today's WWE product is that times a million. Nothing makes sense in today's WWE product. Nothing. Today's WWE roster have character motivations that make no sense, and they seem to have split personalities that change depending on whatever's convenient at the time. Like, for example, take Finn Balor. What is Finn Balor? What is he? Is he the mysterious demon king? Or is he the badass in the leather jacket? Or is he the smiling goofball dancing with Sasha Banks? The answer is, he's all three. He's all three, depending on whatever's convenient at the time. And because of that, these wrestlers come across as split personality, bipolar sociopaths. There's no consistency to them. I mean, look at the build-up to Survivor Series. All of a sudden, the SmackDown roster, baby faces and heels, are wearing the same blue shirt, and they go and they attack Raw for no reason. Like, why the hell would they do that? Why the hell would Becky Lynch, who's a babyface, suddenly team up with the bad guys to go attack Raw? She would never do that. It makes no sense. In terms of character motivation, there is no reason why the SmackDown babyfaces would team with the SmackDown heels to go attack Raw for the honor of the SmackDown brand. They would never do that. The only reason they did that is because it was what was convenient at the time. Survivor Series is coming up, and we need the brands to start feuding, so let's have the SmackDown roster attack Raw, even though it makes no sense. And then after Survivor Series, it's like it never even happened. Everybody goes back to the way they were before. It's like, again, it makes these wrestlers look like split personality sociopaths. It makes it look like they need psychiatric help. These abrupt personality changes are jarring and completely destroy the product. It makes the wrestlers look like they're crazy, like American Psycho or something. I mean, look at this mixed match challenge thing, where baby faces and heels forget that they're baby faces and heels, and suddenly they're acting like best friends on Saved by the Bell. Natalya goofing off with Nakamura, Carmella dancing around with New Day, The Miz and Asuka mugging for the camera, Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman suddenly acting like they're BFFs. Again, these personality changes make the wrestlers look like they're crazy. The only reason they're acting like that is because they're trying to appeal to the mainstream Facebook audience. Again, whatever's convenient at the time, but there's no consistency whatsoever. Speaking of Alexa Bliss, as you know, I have been praising her like crazy in my videos, but even her character is being destroyed by this split personality crap. Her personality seems to change from show to show depending on whatever's convenient at the time. Like, 1 minute she's like silly and goofy, the next minute she's like angry and bitter, and the next minute she's like smug and arrogant. It like changes on a dime, and it looks more than just a mood change. It seems more like a whole personality change. For example, at the Raw before No Mercy, Alexa Bliss was acting all goofy and silly, running away from Nia Jax and trying to celebrate with Bayley. She was like a comedy character, the Raw before No Mercy. Then at No Mercy, she beats 4 wrestlers to be the Raw champion, and she's like smug and arrogant. But then, the next night on Raw, she comes out, and all of a sudden, she's angry and bitter, randomly complaining about stupid shit, even though she's the champion. It was like 3 shows in a row with 3 different personalities. And I don't think it was intentional. I think it's just inconsistent writing based on, you guessed it, whatever's convenient at the time. There is almost zero respect for consistency on Raw or SmackDown anymore. In practically every episode, characters do things that don't match their personalities and outright make no sense. For example, at the SmackDown before the Royal Rumble, babyface Becky Lynch randomly tries to throw Naomi over the top rope for no reason. For no reason. Why would she do that? What reason would she have to do that? There wasn't even a match going on. Even if she planned on betraying Naomi at the Royal Rumble, why would she reveal that on the SmackDown before the Royal Rumble? There's no reason for Becky Lynch to have done that. The only reason she did it is apparently because the writers wanted to highlight the fact that the upcoming Royal Rumble was over the top rope, even though it made no sense for her character. Again, it's whatever's convenient at the time. And by the way, why the hell was the Raw roster so intimidated by the arrival of Asuka? Why would main roster wrestlers be scared of an arriving NXT wrestler? Would a UFC fighter be scared of an arriving Bellator fighter? Hell no! Of course not! The way they tried to make Asuka look so unstoppable was completely ridiculous. They even had a match where the main roster wrestlers fought each other to see who was worthy of fighting Asuka. Like, why the hell do main roster wrestlers need to be worthy of an NXT wrestler? It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And here's another thing that doesn't make sense about Asuka. Asuka's about 36 years old. If 36-year-old Asuka is unstoppable, then why the hell was Alexa Bliss making fun of Mickie James for being 38 years old? Mickie James at 38 is considered an old lady, but not Asuka at 36? In my opinion, Mickie James looks 100 times better than Asuka, who looks like a soccer mom with a line across her face. I mean, there's nothing intimidating about Asuka. When Asuka fought Emma at TLC, it looked like two soccer moms fighting each other. I mean, look at this. Doesn't it look like two soccer moms that went to their kid's Halloween party and they decided to also dress up? Well, doesn't it? And one more thing. Why the hell does it seem like these days every wrestler is acting like they're 8 years old? It's like every wrestler is acting like New Day now, acting all kiddie and shit. Like, remember back in the day when it seemed like every wrestler started suddenly acting like The Rock, like The Miz and Batista? They suddenly started acting like The Rock, and fans were online talking about it. Well, nowadays, it seems like every wrestler is suddenly acting as kiddie as possible. Like, even Bobby Roode is in the ring, like, posing with New Day. Like, what the hell? You know, like, when Braun Strowman is flipping over cars and using those grappling hooks and shit, it's not played out to be cool. It's played out to be as goofy and silly as possible. Like, remember when The Miz was in the limousine and Braun Strowman rose in front of the limousine? Like, The Miz is looking on and Braun Strowman's like, "Whoa! Whoa!" In my opinion, when Braun Strowman does these scenes, they're not played out to be cool. They're played out to be as campy and silly as possible, like a skit on Saturday Night Live. And what about that recent episode of Raw where Braun Strowman comes out with that big cello thing, like confronting Elias, and he's like, "I can play better than you," you know? It's just foolishness. It's just foolishness. Everything is played out to be silly. Everyone's acting kiddie. Nothing makes any sense. So how do you, as an adult fan, keep cheering for this nonsense?